I think of all my movies, The Color Purple was my first grown-up film. A movie like that, it doesn't go better with popcorn. Every movie I made before that, the film goes better with the smell of popcorn. And Color Purple didn't. It was all about the characters, all about the humanity, all about the conflicts between the husbands and the wives, although you wouldn't even want to call them wives based on the way they were treated.
Look at you. You're black, you're poor, you're ugly, you're a woman, you're nothing at all.
See, you do right by me. Everything you even think about gonna fail.
All the things I had done prior to Color Purple were escapist.
I should have locked you up and just let you out to work.
The jail you plan for me is the one you're gonna rot in.
And I don't think I could have made either Empire of the Sun or Schindler's List without the first big, for me, stepping stone of Color Purple. I think the idealization in Empire of the Sun is the freedom of flight, is the idea of being airborne, being free of the earth, just short of dying and going to heaven, being able to fly. When you first see Jim in a costume party with all of the upper crust of British Dutch society, Jim is flying a glider. And then Jim finds an old hulk of a Japanese crashed airplane. He gets inside the airplane, and he imagines by using his little glider, which is still trapped on the air currents, and flying around, he pretends he's in a dogfight. J.G. Ballard wrote Empire of the Sun, and this is his quasi-autobiography. I asked Ballard when I was making the movie, and it's pretty accurate to his perceptions, even though I believe all kids tend to exaggerate. I just simply wanted to assume the point of view of a child.
Enemy aircraft sighted.
He's an odd duck. You know, when he's living in the protective custody of his parents with a silver spoon growing out of his mouth, he confounds his mother by saying, I had a dream that I was playing tennis with God. So he already starts as a very unique child. The Japanese were waiting in the wings before Pearl Harbor on the outskirts of Shanghai, which was called the International Zone. It was English and French and Dutch. Right after Pearl Harbor, the Japanese made their move and they occupied Shanghai. He was a very, very rich, entitled boy who goes from riches to rags. Bang, like that, he's got to figure out who he is. So Jim is always looking into the sky. He wants to be in the clouds. And that's the simpatico that occurs between the Japanese boy on the other side of the wire at the prisoner of war camp, who is training, by the way, to become a kamikaze pilot. But he takes how clever he is, and he parlays it into survival skills and ways of ingratiating himself and serving those who can feed him, protect him, and eventually deliver him back to his mother and father.
Oh, that's a splendid cabbage. Thanks, Jim.
One of the things I responded to the book was the fact that the book made selections of what a child grabs onto with his eyes compared to what an adult chooses to look at. A child might find fascinating the tail section of a downed B-29 that just crashed near the Japanese prisoner of war camp. A little boy might look at that tail and think that was a really interesting image, where adults might just be looking around for where the potatoes coming from for our next meal. The book was filled with visual references, and that's the thing that I really responded to. Being able to tell this story through the eyes of a child and to show the child losing all that, because it's about the death of childhood. This story is probably quintessentially more about the death of childhood than anything I've made before or after. In my opinion, when he gets back to his mother and father, he's not going to stay very long, because they end the movie with his eyes closing. and they're the eyes of an old man who probably won't spend that much longer at home with his parents, and will probably, you know, go out on his own and probably become a novelist, which is what Ballard became in real life.